This is the Middle Tennessee High School Sports Show with your hosts, Mike Strasinger and Jacob Golson.
All right, sports fans, welcome back into another episode of the Middle Tennessee High School Sports Show. I'm Mike Strasinger. This is Jacob, the natural Golson.
What's going on, everybody?
How y'all doing? How you doing?
We're doing good. Glad to be back. Coming to you from the corner pub in the woods out here in Bellevue. I'd like to thank Woods Murphy and his staff for letting us come out here and film. We love the food here, love the atmosphere. It's a great place to be. Come check it out.
Right, I'm going to eat afterwards this week instead of before. That was a mistake before. Thanks. Shout out to Jennifer. We'll see what she's got in line for us later. Thank you very much to Jennifer. All right, coming at you a day later this week because of the Labor Day holiday. I had a nice day off, but Jacob, you had to work, didn't you?
I did have to work. I work at Canoe Music City out by Pegram. And so I was doing that all weekend. We just haul boats and put people out on the river. You should come check us out. It's a fun time.
Is it fun or hot?
Well, it's hot for us, but for those out on the water, it's not so bad.
All right. Well, good. Well, here we go, and we're going to go look at some highlights from last week, some action in volleyball and football, some highlights. We're at a volleyball match. Harpeth and Siegel in a big match, and then a good public-private football matchup over here, Ensworth and Hillsboro.
Yeah, and today we're also going to look at some of the scores from this past week for volleyball, soccer, football, and some results from cross-country. And we'll also see how I did in my first week of the Picks of the Week game we're playing.
I think you did okay. I think you did okay.
Friendly reminder, we've got $50 on the line to one of our favorite charities for who does the best overall in their picks. And, of course, we'll also do our picks of the week for this coming week as well.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, we're going to go right now and just look at the highlights from a volleyball match between Siegel and Harpeth Hall last week. Take a look at this.
Highlights from a big non-region match. Good early season test for Siegel at Harpeth Hall. Harpeth Hall won this one fairly easily, 3-1, using a great mixed-up attack between outside hitter and also setter Jamison White, and then senior Sydney Hefner getting in on the action from the outside here. Then Harpeth Hall came back at him with junior hitter Claire Wilson, who was really putting it away early in the match. And then they counter, just when you think Siegel had that figured out, they come back with freshman Elizabeth Aylward, who really took over in this match. Had a huge day. Siegel did get some good play from their middle hitter, Jada Clark, the junior. But in the end, this was all Harpeth Hall. They won fairly easily 3-1.
That's a pretty impressive win.
Yeah.
Harpeth Hall looked better than I thought they would this early in the season. A big win over a always tough Siegel team, always there at the state tournament. Harpeth Hall lost a big part of their team with Chloe Wilson going down with an injury, but she will be going to Wake Forest next year. Her sister Claire is still hitting hard, and she's also a setter. They also have Jamison White as a setter, and they have what they use is called a 6-2 offense. Check this out. They rotate them around, so those two are never in the same line together, and they can both hit or both set depending on where they are.
Wow.
And they also got Elizabeth Aylward, freshman, big hitter from the outside, and she was really swinging well, as you saw there. Now, Jake, why don't you take us through some of those scores this week?
Yeah, let's get into it. Some big matches this week, starting with Class A. We had Summertown. They went 2-0 this week with wins over Hampshire and Lawrence County. Loretto, the state champions from this past year, went 2-0 as well with wins over Collinwood and Perry County. Harpeth High School went 2-0 in District 10 with wins over East Hickman and Santa Fe. In AA action, Portland went 2-0 with wins over Springfield and Macon County. Macon County went 1-1 this week with a win over White House and the loss to Portland. Nolensville went 2-0 with wins over Tullahoma and Page. Lawrence County was 1-0 with a win over Camden County. And district play began in District 10 AA with East Nashville, Hume-Fogg, and MLK all picking up wins. In Class AAA, District 7, Blackman went 2-0 with wins over Siegel and Riverdale. Siegel, with that loss to Blackman, it was their first loss in a district match in like 6 years.
Yeah, Siegel's always there in the state tournament, and they were there. I understand they have had a lot of injuries actually, and I'm sure they'll be back later in the year, strong as ever.
In other AAA action, Lincoln County beat Coffee County 3-0 in straight sets, while Wilson Central went 2-0 on the week with wins over Laverne and Mount Juliet. McGavick also picked up a district win with a 3-0 shutout of Hunters Lane. In the always tough District 12 AAA, Brentwood got district play started with wins over Page and Summit, while Ravenwood also picked up 2 wins, knocking off Independence and Franklin. In that Franklin match, Ravenwood, they started the match down 0-2, but they came back to get the win 3-2.
Those are so intense. When it goes to a 5-set match, game 5, set 5, it's only to 15 points. It's just so intense, so much fun.
Great win for them. Now moving on to Division II, Good Pasture knocked off Friendship Christian. Lipscomb Academy went 2-1 on the week, losing to Harpeth Hall, but then beating DCA and St. Cecilia. Ensworth beat BA, and Harpeth Hall got wins over Lipscomb, Siegel, and Brentwood Academy.
Good job, Jacob. Strong. We would love to report more scores to you. It's a big hurdle, big obstacle here. Is part of our problem is getting these scores. We got to get we want to talk about your team, but we need the results. And a great resource is Max Preps. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, but if you're not, please ask your coach to check out Max Preps. Report your scores to Max Preps, and then we can see the scores and report.
We'll feature y'all.
Yeah, we'll talk about you. Glad to. Would love to. Some of the big volleyball games coming up later this week include, we are coming to you a day later, but there was a big matchup on Tuesday between Brentwood and Ravenwood and Ensworth and Harpeth Hall, and we will report the score of that next week. Some other matches to watch for later this week: Shelbyville, Lincoln County, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Oakland, Blackman, Page, Franklin. Those are all like rivalry matches.
Yeah.
Those are always fun, great crowds. All right, we're going to go to soccer now. How about some results from soccer, Jacob?
Yeah, let's dive into it. So some of the big games from last week, we had Nolensville beat Tullahoma 2-0. Brentwood beat Station Camp 6-0. Beach defeated White House 6-0. Merrill High beat Hemfog 2-0. MLK with a big win over Hillwood 8-0. A lot of goals there. Portland beat East Robertson 2-1. Father Ryan beat Independence 4-3. CPA had 2 big wins this week. 4-0 defeated BA and defeated Middle Tennessee Christian 9-0.
Wow.
Harpeth Hall tied Independence 3-3, and Harpeth Hall beat MLK 7-0. A lot of goals. FRA tied DCA 2-2, and FRA also beat Lipscomb 4-1. Some other big games coming up this week. We have Ravenwood playing Summit, Brentwood playing Franklin, MLK versus Hemfog on Friday, big game there. Oakland playing Blackman on Thursday, and a tournament coming up this weekend at McGavick with Hillsboro, St. Cecilia, Fairview, and of course McGavick as well.
All right, this past week, Jacob and I went over here to Ensworth and watched the big public-private matchup, Ensworth and Hillsboro. Great atmosphere over there. Both teams came in at 1-0.
Yep.
And take a look at these highlights.
Highlights from Hillsboro at Ensworth. Both teams come in at 1-0. Great atmosphere, great night. Things get started early for Ensworth. They get a nice run here by Elijah Jenkins around the end. Some great downfield blocking. And this gets the Tigers up early 7-0. And they come right back with establishing a little bit of a ground game, featuring Charles Ingram up the middle here. Good strong run, dragging some burrows with him. And Gerard Bullock, the quarterback for Ensworth, doing a great job with his legs all night long, as well as his arm. He gets a nice run downfield. And here he hits Jude Malloy, quick hitter. Then Malloy takes it close. This allows Andre Turrentine to get outside on the swing pass. And Ensworth's up quickly 14-0. Then after a bad kickoff return, Ensworth is swarmed under near the goal line, trying to get out from the shadow of the goalpost, setting up a bad punt. And you can see it really goes bad here. Hillsboro runs people on late. It's blocked by Elijah Jenkins, giving Gabriel McDaniel the easiest touchdown he'll ever score. Then on Hillsboro's next punt, Andre Turrentine here takes it down. Nice return, setting up a touchdown. Short touchdown by Bullock, who keeps it in himself, taking it in. And Ensworth's up now 28-0. Another punt, bad punt, and returned this time by Keyshawn Lawrence. And he takes it down almost all the way, close. And this sets up the second easiest touchdown that Gabriel McDaniel will ever score. Just walks in very easily, 35-0. Then Elijah Jenkins gets through and blocks another punt. This time it's taken back by Ari Ruckman, and Ensworth is up big before the half. Hillsboro does come back right before the half with a long pass from Jacob McMakin to Dorian Dismuke. Gets them close, but they run out of time. Hillsboro does get on the board in the second half with a run by Brian Covington. And then to finish out the scoring, number 20, Mark Smith, takes it around in for the final score, 48-6, Ensworth.
Well, that game, it got out of hand for
A little bit.
Hillsboro. They're a better team than that. Ensworth, as you saw there, there was like a series of four special teams plays in a row. It was, Ensworth's probably the better team, but the special teams play of Hillsboro was really disappointing, and Ensworth took full advantage, and it was boom, 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 and it was 42-0 in the second quarter. It's just, of course, nobody's going to come back from that. So
sometimes games just get away from you, but the most important part is how Hillsboro is going to bounce back in these later weeks.
That's right. They've got Gallatin this week, a big game for them. Ensworth will host Knoxville Catholic in a big game. That's going to be a real fun game. Some of the scores that stood out to us from the action around the middle of Tennessee, none bigger than Pearl over MBA. Pearl Cone over MBA, 21-15. They get the win. I've been talking about Pearl Cone for years. They have had the talent to beat MBA, but they just have not been able to get it done. But this was the year.
You called it too.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I finally got one. Congratulations to Coach Tony Brunetti and his staff. Great win over NBA. Pearl Cone is no joke, and the upcoming game against East Nashville later in a few weeks will be huge. Other big games that we liked: Independence 20-10 over CPA. Oakland 86-14 over Kenwood. That one surprised me a little bit. I'm shocked that Kenwood got 14 points.
I'm shocked that Oakland got 86.
That's a lot of points. Ravenwood 16-13 over Blackman. Two really good teams there. Some others: Brentwood 37, Cane Ridge 20, Eagleville 27, Cornersville 15, East Nashville 17, Maplewood 0. It's two straight shutouts for East Nashville. The East Empire is in full force.
Yep.
They're rolling. Fairview 49, East Hickman 0, so that Fairview bounces back after that tough loss to Page last week. FRA 39, Stratford 27. Nice win for Coach Bill Whitmore and FRA. Lawrence County 28, Loretto 3. Livingston Academy 28-21 over Cookville.
Yep.
Nashville Christian School 39-27 over Good Pasture. Pope John Paul II 33, Lipscomb 14. Wilson Central sneaks by Overton 28-27. All right, now it's time to go over our picks of the week from last week. We go through kind of a random thing on the TSSAA website. They list all the games. We go down and pick the third game on the list. It gives us a list of about 20 or 22 games. And then we just split that list in half. And he takes, I make two lists and I gave Jacob the choice of list A or B. And last week he took B.
Yep.
And Jacob, I got to tell you, he went 7-3 on the week. I'm very impressed.
Good start.
Now I did go 8-2. I snuck one in at that last minute there. I was just lucky, but really very impressed. What we're going to do is the loser. We're going to do it by winning percentage, okay? Because I think sometimes there might be a imbalance of the number of games. So we'll do a winning percentage, and the loser has to pay $50 to the other's favorite charity. And now, what's your charity going to be?
So the charity I chose for this competition is Men of Valor. It's a prison ministry here in Nashville. I've got a family friend that does a lot of work for them, and I've been involved with them before, so it's a great charity. I'm
going to do the World Wildlife Foundation. It's a good animal conservation charity. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I love animals. My daughter loves animals, so we're going to, if I lose, I'd be glad to give the money to the World Wildlife Foundation. All right, it's time for our picks of the week. Now, I gave you the choice. I sent you the picks earlier this week. I sent them to you last night. I sent you the two lists. or I gave you first. I said you want A or B.
Yeah.
And what did you take?
I took list B. It worked well for me last week.
Okay. So why don't you just take us through your picks then?
All right. So starting with game 1 for me, I have Sequatchie County at Cannon County. Sequatchie County, they had a tough 21-7 loss to a good South Pittsburgh team last week. They're going to travel an hour to play this game at Cannon County.
Wow.
So I think they're going to show up ready to play, so I'm going with Sequatchie County there. Now, my second game is Riverdale at Cookeville. Both really good teams. Now, what I will say is 0-2 does not reflect how good this Cookeville team is. They're very talented, and they've lost a few heartbreakers to very good teams. They lost to Upperman 21-20, and then lost to Livingston Academy last week 28-21. Unfortunately for them, this Riverdale team is going to be the best team they've faced yet, and I don't think Cookeville's going to get the job done home here. I'm going with Riverdale. My next game is Giles County at East Nashville. East is looking to make a statement this year. I don't see them losing here. They're going to get the win. Next game is Lincoln County at Franklin County. I think Franklin County is going to be too much for this Lincoln County team, so Franklin County there. The hardest game for me to pick this week is Centennial at Independence.
That is tough.
Yeah, on Max Preps, these teams are ranked 70th and 72nd, respectively. So it's really a coin flip. I'm going to give it to the home team for Independence, going for them. My next game is St. Benedict at MBA. I'm going to keep this one simple. MBA started the year 0-2. They're going to get back on track here. They're heated. MBA gets the win. My next game is Davidson Academy at Nashville Christian School. Oh, this one was a little bit tough for me too. Davidson Academy got beat pretty bad in week 1 against FRA. They lost 30-6, but they had a bye week last week. I think they're going to show up ready to play at Nashville Christian. They're going to get the win.
Okay.
Franklin at Ravenwood is my next matchup. I'm not going to say much here. Ravenwood, the talent, the skill, the experience, it all favors them. They get the win.
Nice.
Hendersonville at Station Camp. Hendersonville, they're still not over the 59-0 loss to Oakland in week 1. They're going to be playing with a purpose. They're going to beat Station Camp.
All right.
Smith County at Upperman. This is a battle of 2 undefeated teams here, but Upperman has home field advantage, and it's Smith County's 3rd away game in a row. They're going to be a little bit tired. Upperman's going to take home the win. And my last matchup of the week is Christian Academy in Knoxville at White County, another battle of 2 undefeated teams. But I think CAK is the better overall team, in my opinion. They get the win.
Well done. You've done your research.
I did. I did a lot of research.
That's right. That's awesome. All right, my picks. Starting off, I've got Good Pasture versus BGA. Made some notes here somewhere. BGA. Okay, they've got wins already over McGavick and Father Ryan, 2 quality teams. Nick Semptenfelter, their quarterback, and he's a Bucknell commit, and Antonio Stevens, the wide receiver, going to Purdue. Those 2 are going to be too much for Good Pasture. BJ wins that one. I got Fayette Academy at Clarksville Academy. Clarksville Academy at 2-0. Fayette Academy 1-1. We'll go with Clarksville Academy to remain undefeated. Friendship at DCA. Friendship now is 1-1. DCA is 1-1. The records are equal, but Friendship is the better team. DCA is getting better, but they're not on level with Friendship yet. Then we've got Baylor at Father Ryan. Father Ryan is they lost a close one to Bowling Green out of Kentucky, and that's a tough time. I don't know if you know about that team. It's called the Bowling Green Purple. That's their nickname, the Purple.
The Purple.
No shame in losing to them. They're always a good team, always go deep into the playoffs in Kentucky. And then they also lost to BGA. Of course, no shame there. I think Father Ryan gets it done this week with a big win over Baylor out of Chattanooga. Then we got Waverly at Hickman County. Hickman County's 1-0. Waverly is 0-2. I like Hickman County in this one. All right, Mount Juliet and Lebanon. Mount Juliet 0-1, Lebanon 1-1. 2 teams is a rivalry game. The difference here, Mount Juliet was off last week. And so, like you mentioned earlier, they're going to be rested and ready.
Yep.
So I like Mount Juliet over Lebanon. All right, Cornersville at Moore County. Now, these 2 teams come in at Cornersville is 0-2, and Moore County's 2-0. But don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. Jay, you might not know Cornersville lost the last 2 state championships. They're runners up the last two years. Last year, they had a stretch where they were scored on in the first game, but then they put 10 shutouts in a row.
Wow.
And then it carried them into the playoffs. Although they've lost their first 2 games this year, Cornersville is going to be back this week.
Yep.
Cornersville over Moore County. My toughest pick was Shelbyville at Page. This one, like you looked at Max Preps, I looked at Max Preps, and this gets down to just really who the home team is. I'm going to go with Page. I like the Page Patriots in this one. Wilson Central at Rossview. I'm going to go with Wilson Central. This should be a close game. I want to back it up. I forgot my note here. Shelbyville and Page, I'm predicting an overtime game right there. I'm going to say goes overtime. Page wins in overtime.
I'll give you a bonus point.
All right, cool. Wilson Central at Rossview. Wilson Central in a close one over Rossview. Columbia at Summit. Columbia Central at Summit. I'm going to go with Columbia. They're just a little bit better, I think. 2 good teams. And then Grace. This is Chattanooga Grace at the Webb School. I have no idea. I just don't know a thing about either school. I looked them up. It didn't help me a bit. Grace Baptist is 1-1. The Webb School's 0-2. I'll go with Grace. Got to go.
Fair enough.
I just love their name. Got to go with the Grace. So that's going to do our picks of the week, and we'll see how we did. We'll see. We'll come back next week and see how we did. Compare notes again.
I'm down 1, so I gotta make a little comeback here.
Yeah, and it's a running total. It's not a week to week.
Right.
We'll see how you did. All right, other big games this week include McCauley at BA. McCauley's a really good team out of Chattanooga, Jacob. They should give Brentwood Academy a real test. Fairview at Cheatham County. Knoxville Catholic at Ensworth. I think I mentioned that earlier. Knoxville Catholic has a player, Tyler Barron, who used to be at Ensworth. He's transferred to Knoxville Catholic.
Wow.
He's coming back to face Ensworth, and they have told me they're going to be ready for him. Lipscomb at FRA, Davidson Academy at National Christian School. You had that one. That's going to be a good game. Nolensville at Spring Hill. Pearl Cone at Stratford. Now, last year, Pearl Cone shut out Stratford in the regular season. At this point of the year, 55-0, something like that.
Wow.
And Stratford beat them in the playoffs.
Oh, good story.
So we'll see. Now, Stratford lost last week. Pearl Cone had the big win over NBA. I don't think Pearl will be sleeping on Stratford this time.
Not this time around.
And then a big Wilson County matchup, Trousdale County at Watertown, and then Republic at Whites Creek. 2 teams not doing really well, but one of them will get a win this week. So there you go. One of the new things we're going to do here on the Middle Tennessee High School Sports Show is feature local high school players that have moved on to the next level. I went to the Vanderbilt-Georgia game last week, and where there's a number of players on the Vanderbilt roster from the area schools, and I just wanted to see them in action. Of course, we all know about Keyshawn Vaughn. I hope you do. He's having a great career at Vanderbilt, but also from Pearl Cone, his former teammate from Pearl, and then went to Illinois with Keyshawn originally out of college, is Cam Watkins, who's a graduate student now, finishing out his playing career at Vanderbilt. And Braden DeVault Smith also went to Pearl Cone. He saw a lot of action at linebacker for Vanderbilt. Also Cam Johnson from Brentwood Academy, Rutger Reitmeyer from Lipscomb, and Donald Fitzgerald, the great kid from Hillsboro, is now with Vanderbilt. I don't know if he'll see the field this year or not. They'll probably use him as a red shirt, his red shirt this year, but we're so happy he's over there. Some other players on the roster from the area, Gavin Schoenwald over at Brentwood Academy, Harrison Smith from Brentwood, BA, Nate Clifton from BA, Jaden Harrison from Pearl Cone, Keithian Starling from Nashville Christian, and Brett Starr from MBA.
You love to see all this representation from Tennessee.
Yeah, it's great. And right here, we saw these kids play high school, and now we're getting to see them play, at Vanderbilt. It's pretty. SEC school is pretty cool. It's so good to see these kids playing at the next level.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a look at athletes from the area, not just football. I'm going to go around and see what I can find at cross country, soccer, volleyball from the Middle Tennessee kids where they're playing now.
Yep. So that takes us on to cross country now. So Saturday there was a big cross country meet, the Voiles Classic at the Hermitage, featuring over 80 schools. So I'm going to go and give you all a rundown of the top finishing teams from this meet. So the top 5 girls teams from the Voiles Classic are Brentwood, Independence, Cookeville, Franklin, and Mount Juliet. And the 5 top teams for the boys are Franklin, Brentwood, Independence, Station Camp, and Wilson Central.
Yeah, and then you can run as an individual there as well. Like you came to the state meet, and the top finisher for the girls was Lee Walters from Page High School, and the boys Aiden Britt from Lebanon High School. And I think we mentioned in our first episode that these kids, they run as an individual, and how that's kind of a challenge when you don't have teammates pacing you.
Yeah.
But we did pick both these athletes to finish near the top, if not at the top. Well, that's going to do it. Thanks for checking us out. Get us out of here, Jacob.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MTHS Sports Show. Keep up with us throughout the week. We'll keep you all updated.
Subscribe.
See y'all next week.